Now, we just heard a very, very fine song, and that song was called Natural Woman, or You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, or open brackets, close, You Make Me Feel, close brackets, like a natural woman. There's about 95,000 different ways to name a song, but you know the song, it was by Aretha Franklin initially, but that time you heard it from a person whose name is Angie Narayan, and as coincidence would have it, Robert, you'll never guess who's on the telephone.
You haven't done it again, have you?
Every time I play a song and suddenly magically
they appear.
Good morning, Angie.
Good morning, fellas. How are we doing?
Good morning, Angie. Welcome to the show.
You.
That was a beautiful rendition of a beautiful singer's probably clearly, or nearly most famous song, maybe After Respect.
Don't you have any RESPECT or any other
Yeah,
music?
there's a bit of that going on. But,
yeah.
Geez, big, bold task for someone to take on Aretha Franklin. When did you think, I'm ready for this?
Oh, look, I don't think you're ever ready, are you? I was presented this in 2019, and I was like, are you sure you rung the right person? Because I'm like, this is just an incredible songbook, incredible singer, Queen of Soul. Look, I grew up singing soul music, so it's kind of the essence of my sound, but to take on such a feat was just, I literally had to relearn how to sing, because Aretha just feels and sings music like no other. So it hasn't been an easy task, but a task that has definitely made me grow as a singer.
There was a YouTube clip that I had a look at during the week of her singing that particular song at I think the Kennedy Honours event for Carole King, and it just, spine tingling. I've got to say I've never been a massive fan, but that was, something quite superb. Now, before we talk about the show and Aretha Franklin, your relationship with her music, we better do what we always do at this time, hit with a hard-hitting question. Are you ready?
Yes, go for it.
Where did your singing start?
Oh, look, I probably was about 9 years of age. I started singing, it sounds a bit cliche, but in the church choir, back in the early 80s. So that was kind of my start and introduction to music and singing.
There's a lot of people who do start in church choirs, don't they? Particularly soul singers. And I guess it's not a million miles away from gospel.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, all the greats, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Patti LaBelle, you name them, they started in the church. It's probably the best training ground for any singer, really.
A name that probably won't mean anything to you, but a name that means something to the listeners of this program, Ross Stevenson, who does 3AW Breakfast. He started off singing in a church choir, St Paul's Cathedral in Melbourne, in fact.
There you go.
And but anyway, we'll go there another
recently
time.
We had the wonderful Vicar and Linda on the show, and they had a very, very similar story to yours, and their careers have done some very similar things. So there's a lot of positives in starting in that environment.
Definitely, most definitely. I mean, it's very nurturing. It's very gracious. It's a family atmosphere. So you it's in your blood too. And being of Islander heritage, it's kind of what we do. We gather around food and music.
Because there's a stark contrast, isn't there? I remember Jimmy Barnes saying that they learned to sing at the Largs North Hotel, and if they were no good, they got punched up after the show. In church choirs, I suspect, even if you're a little bit off key, people are going to run around and say, you're doing a really good job, keep trying.
Yes, I think Jimmy had the hardest start to us, for sure.
No, you weren't taken out the back after and given a good punching after you'd sang how great thou art badly. So then fast forward a little bit, many people would remember you from your performance on, I'm going to say The Voice, and it was Australian Idol, wasn't it? Which one was it?
Yeah, Australian Idol, that's the one.
Yeah, and it's a big jump from singing in the church choir to getting and jumping up on TV in front of a whole stack of people.
Oh, most definitely.
What was that journey like?
Look, totally different world. I'm so grateful for the journey. It's I loved that I got to meet some incredible industry greats that opened up some huge doors for me. And, the experience itself, singing to a camera is completely different to singing to a live audience. And, that really helped me grow. But I loved it. I love the whole process and where it's taken my career.
So, Aretha Franklin, when did you first start singing her music? Was it when you were asked to in 2019, or were you having a crack before that?
No, I was having a crack before that. Like I said, soul music was kind of what I did anyway, and it's who I am. I was, Dicko named me Soul Mama, and so I was kind of took that trajectory, and soul music was just the genre that I am very, very comfortable and just naturally sing. So, I was singing Aretha years before I did the Respect show as well. Yeah.
The Aretha Franklin story behind the music, like a lot of artists like her through the 60s, there would have been a lot of racism to deal with to get to the top, but it was just the pure strength of her talent that was able to push through all that. Did you study a lot about her life in helping you prepare for this show?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, as the show goes on, I mean, I learned so much just from the scripting and just learning her battles from a child, being a black woman in an era of extreme discrimination, and rising above that, and choosing to spread the message of equality and freedom is what Aretha stood for.
And your own experience, I think Australians generally have had a really good relationship through our good relationship with New Zealand, with people from the Pacific Islands, and you probably found it very easy to blend into both the new cultures of British settlement in New Zealand and Australia. But has it been an easy journey for you in that space to push your career through what can be troubling for some?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I like I said, Aretha kind of paved that way, and we live in a very multicultural nation, and it's very embracing, and so I've been super blessed to be part of a culture and an industry that's accepting and diverse, and so it was an easy road for me in terms of starting up as a singer in my very early 20s and to today really. And I guess your gift makes your way for you as well, and I've been super blessed and super humbled by people recognising the gift and obviously and putting it on stage and believing in me. So that's been incredible for me.
Are there any member of the family who sings professionally, or mum and dad, they singers as well?
Yeah, my mum and dad both were singers. Actually, Mum grew up singing. She was a soprano in the choir. My dad was he had a beautiful voice. He used to sing all of the Indian love folk songs. My father's Indian and my mother's Fijian. So I grew up with music in my home. My cousin Paulini, you probably know.
No, we've interviewed her. She's a friend of the show.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, so we grew up in church and high school together. So, singing is definitely in the vein. And my 16-year-old niece currently wants to pursue that as a career too. She's got just such a beautiful voice, Stella.
She'll have a stellar career, no doubt. We have a couple of bands and artists that we've kind of not adopted, but certainly given some airplay to, who just find the getting in the front door bit tricky. How do young folk like Stella, how do they break in if they don't use a show like Idol or The Voice or one of those?
Well, I mean, I started my career before, the whole, I guess, Idol thing happened. But I guess it's having a clear goal, knowing who you are as a singer, what niche you want to fall into, and also understanding the business of music as well. It's not just about having talent, but it's being able to put together bios and photos and, all the things that run a business, because it is a business in itself. So it's really important to understand that, and I did a bit of studying in lighting and sound as well, so that helped me along the journey. So I guess knowledge is power. So my advice is immerse yourself in the industry and learn every kind of sphere of it, so that you have a clear understanding of the overall role of the singer.
And
there you go, Rob. That's what you've got to do.
I've got to do that now.
Yeah.
On that same vein, Angie, about the management, because you're saying off air the Aretha thing is just part of your full-time singing world. How do you make all the dates line up? Have you got someone that assists you with that, a management team, or is that part of your skill set as well?
Well, it's part of my skill set. I mean, I think in my career I've probably been managed over a period of 24 months. The rest of the time I've managed myself. A lot of it is word of mouth. We always my tag is you're only as good as your last gig. So make sure it's good, because it's the biggest advertisement for your next one.
Yeah.
So I try to stay on top of my game, and I literally a lot of it's just been people that have seen me and have heard about me and have basically booked me. And I've had almost 30 years of singing doing just that.
And that's the interesting part about the next level. The television appearance maybe opened up a door, but it is your own performance but it still requires someone to open that door up. Someone's got to seek you to get you to the next stage, whether that be record contracts, whatever the case may be. But with the workload you've got at the moment, are you still seeking more?
I think I'm in a really happy place, to be honest. I think when you've been doing as long as me, you can kind of say yes and no to certain gigs, and I'm super blessed to be able to be in that position where I can, I'm doing some really great great gigs and don't have to take too much load in terms of time.
So someone taps you on the shoulder in 2019 and says, Angie, we've got this great idea. They would have gone, Angie, wouldn't they? As you can see, I'm not the one who's looking for a singing career. So they tap you on the shoulder and they say, listen, we've got this opportunity. We think you'd be ideal to be in this particular show. Presumably you meet with those people. How do you put together an ensemble, to use a French word, because that thing that's happening in Paris, we have to use French words. How do you, a band, presumably, other support people? Is that your responsibility, or is that the responsibility of the people putting it on?
It's usually the responsibility of people putting it on. I guess, the key factor is understanding the genre that you're singing and having players and singers and a team that understands that language, because every genre has a language. So, and so like I said, I had to kind of relearn how to sing Aretha, because she's just on a different planet in terms of phrasing and how she feels music. So it's more up to the organizer, the person who comes up to you, who's running the event or the actual show itself.
Massive body of songs she has produced. How do you pick out the best to put the show together, and does it have a story theme through the show that makes the choice of music a little easier?
Yeah, sure. So the backing vocals play my brother and sister. So it's narrated to them. So it's a conversation, and they take you through a journey from when she was a child all the way through to sadly her death, and so you get this incredible story. So the feat of the show, our objective was, we don't want you just to walk away knowing her music, because we know her music. What we want you to do is actually know Aretha and be inspired by her life, because she was a true fighter. And so the show actually goes through her highs and her lows, and the songs kind of are part of that storytelling. It's not the biggest part of that storytelling. I mean, there's nothing like music that transcends speaking.
So a little more Jersey Boys than a concert, if you will.
Correct. Yes, definitely. It's definitely more theatre. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Does the story change? Has it changed along the way? Has there been an addition to the song after you've had a little bit of a chat about, that might work better if we did this, or have you stuck to the same one all the way through?
Most definitely. I think we've been doing the show for 5 years now, and so as we've moved on, so has the show. The show's progressed, and I think the objective is always to do what we do better, and so because we want to give our audience the best experience, but also paint Aretha in the best light possible, and see that people really recognise what she has done for women in music over the last 50, 60 years. So,
Angie, this may be the difficult question of the morning. There's such a wonderful body of work, and now that you know more about her life and the passion with which she sang, which song in the show is the one that you feel really comfortable about singing to best epitomise what the show's about and your contribution to the show?
How did I know you were going to ask me that question?
How did I know you was going to ask that question? You ask it every week.
Telepathy, I knew it. Oh gosh, that's a tough one. I guess now being doing it for 5 years, I think it changes over time. You're like, oh, that one's my favorite. Oh no, this one's my favorite. Look, Natural Woman, it's just an incredible song. I love singing it. Also, there's a bit of a surprise package in the show as well. We because she's sung so many genres, and so we do a special version, an opera song actually.
I was going to say, it's not, We're So Pretty by the Sex Pistols. You don't give that a run.
Yeah. So we like to keep it fresh. We like to keep surprise elements there. So I don't want to give away too much.
No, absolutely not. Don't do that.
And there's another kind of a jazzier number that's quite soulful called Ain't No Way as well, which is probably the most recent addition to the show, which I absolutely love.
Well, you've just sold 2 more tickets because Ross, who is our jazz presenter on the station, has just rushed out and bought 2 new tickets on the basis of that song.
Yeah.
Look, Angie, on that same theme, you're suggesting that there was flexibility in Aretha Franklin's voice and music taste, but when you're doing your own work, how far do you stretch yourself across genres? Because if someone can sing, they can sing anything. You could sing country and western as well as opera with a voice like that. So where do you like to fit yourself?
Look, as older that I've gone, I've probably more down probably the jazz line. It's just so easy on the voice. It's such a beautiful, expressive genre as well, with so much nuances, you know. So I really do enjoy singing a fair bit of jazz, but I'm also a rock chick at heart. But you know, and people are surprised by that. They're like, "What?" So you know, I'll pull out a bit of Akadaka and you know, so a bit of In Excess and a bit of that, and I love it.
How do you go with a bit of slide guitar and banjo for backing?
Not so much banjo, but I don't mind a bit of slide guitar myself.
Again, you've counted Rob out on that. What's your name again? Rob out on that on the basis of that.
I just do love the way you hear well-known voices go into different areas. I think it's fantastic, and it is an easy fit because singing at the end of the day, it's just singing. It's sound, it's pitch, all of those things, and they all belong in a place anywhere. And it's the really talented voices that can easily move about. Is what I love about singers of your ilk.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Now, you are coming to the beautiful city by the bay, and off the top of my head, brackets reading from the email in front of me, it will be here on Sunday the 18th of August. Is that an afternoon show or an evening show?
I'm pretty sure it's a matinee. I think it's a 3 p.m. show.
We better make sure you know that beforehand, because otherwise it's going to be orcs if you turn up at the wrong time, because I think people are coming to see you rather than the location. At Geelong Performing Arts Centre, or it's got a new name, it's just Geelong Arts Centre now.
Geelong Arts Centre, and it is a magnificent facility. I don't know if you've been here since it's been revamped, Angie, but you are going to love it. It is something this town is enormously proud of now, and I hope you'll have a good time and keep coming back.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Now, people will wander through the door at 10 minutes to 3 because no one likes anyone turning up late. The lights will dim, and then for the next hour or two, you are going to be entertaining them. What can they expect in terms of people on stage? There are the three of you mentioned?
Yep. So there's 2 female vocalists and a male vocalist, and there's a 6-piece band. So we've got saxophone, drums, you name it, the whole thing. Costume changes, Act 1, Act 2, with an intermission.
So they get a chance to nip out and get a cold one at half-time?
Absolutely, you can, yes.
Excellent. That's what we like to see.
And will you be mingling with the fans after the event, Angie?
Definitely, yes. I'll definitely come out to the fore and say hello to everybody for sure.
Well, the great man, Rob Cameron, no doubt will be there. I'm unfortunately out of town on that day, but Rob will be there signing autographs. You'll know which one he is. He'll be the one in the corner signing autographs. Just wander over and introduce yourself.
He's being silly, Angie. Don't listen to him.
Bring your banjo, mate, yeah?
Yeah, he plays a beautiful banjo. Angie, can people buy your music? I went looking yesterday to try and purchase the song that we just played, and I had to actually ask Mark Mancini to provide it to me. Where can people buy your music?
Look, I don't actually have much out. I did an album back in 2006. It's a very, very long time ago now, which you could probably get on iTunes and Spotify. But I did a single as well with Ministry of Sound called Slide. So if you look that up, you could probably find something online. So
the idea of recording albums and so on doesn't do it for you, or are you too busy doing stage shows?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I much prefer the live. I mean, I think different songwriting is just a vein and a muscle that, if you're blessed with it, you are. And I'm not that person. So I've just enjoyed singing other people's songs, so.
Well, we have an enormous amount of RESPECT for you doing that as well. You'll see the little juxtaposition there. Angie, thank you so much for joining us this morning and telling us about your career and your show. You are now officially a friend of the Two Blokes because you've been on twice. So that's got to be something right up there. 18th of August, Sunday the 18th of August, we think at 3 p.m. Check your local guides. Geelong Arts Centre is where it will be. Angie Narayan, thank you so much. Can we look forward to a show with you and Paulini? Is that the next thing?
Oh, well, we'll just have to see, Dale.
Oh, wow.
When that happens, we want to scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Angie. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Angie. All the best.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Angie Narayan there. She will be at the Geelong Arts Centre in a couple of weeks.
Thoroughly enjoyable. We're so blessed to speak to people like this, not only very talented, but clearly just a nice, down-to-earth, humble woman who's extremely talented.